Zhongli Quan is a celebrated immortal in Taoist tradition. Among the legendary Xian, the 8 Immortals of Taoism, Zhongli Quan's story is said to begin during the Zhou Dynasty, around 1122 BC. It was a time of great change in China, a time when philosophies like Confucianism and Taoism were beginning to take shape and mold the way people viewed the world. The Xian are not gods, right? They're regular men and women who attained immortality by following the principles of Taoism. They teach us that even ordinary people can achieve greatness. Now, as a mortal, Zhongli Quan studied the principles of Taoism under the guidance of Li Tieguai, the first of the 8 Immortals. He studied alchemy and magic before discovering the secret to immortality, not in the way you might expect. It is said that Zhongli Quan's journey to immortality began when his house collapsed. While the structure fell apart, something extraordinary happened. Hidden beneath the rubble, he discovered a sacred book, a book that contained the instructions for eternal life. After reading the instructions, Zhongli Quan followed them meticulously, and with his knowledge of Taoist alchemy and magic, he ascended to heaven, literally flying on a cloud, becoming one of the 8 Immortals. But how did his house fall apart in the first place, leading to the discovery of the magic book? This is one of the most famous tales about him, involving his wife, a powerful test of loyalty. Legend tells us that when Zhongli Quan was a mortal studying Taoist magic, he lived in the countryside with a beautiful young wife. One day, while traveling, he encountered a widow sitting beside a freshly filled grave, fanning the soil. The widow explained that her husband had passed away, and before his death, he had made her promise to wait until the soil on his grave had completely dried before she remarried. However, she had already found a new suitor, so she was trying to dry the grave faster. Of course she was, right? Moved by her plight, Zhongli Quan decided to help. Using his magical powers, he called on the spirits, struck the tomb with his fan, and just like that, the grave became dry. The widow was so thankful that she just ran off, leaving all her possessions behind. Returning home, Zhongli Quan recounted the story to his wife, but instead of praising him for his kindness, she scolded him, calling the widow a monster for attempting to remarry so quickly. His wife's reaction angered him, and he decided to put her loyalty to the ultimate test. Zhongli Quan, seeking to teach his wife a lesson, feigned death. He used his magical powers to transform himself into a young, handsome man and approached his wife once again. Caught up in her emotions, his wife quickly fell in love with the young man. Her infidelity would soon be revealed. She agreed to marry him and even agreed to steal the brain of her dead husband to create a powerful potion, as Zhongli Quan was quite well known for his studies in alchemy, right? So he had a magic brain. He ate all this stuff and had a magic brain, and apparently she was fine with cracking open his head. But just as she opened the coffin to take out his magical brain, there was a shocking twist. Zhongli Quan appeared, alive and doing quite well, but a little upset, obviously. His wife, realizing her betrayal, was overcome with shame and regret. In despair, she took her own life, leaving Zhongli Quan heartbroken. In his grief, he set his house on fire. And when it collapsed, he discovered the sacred book of Immortality. It's not clear who hid the fireproof book of Immortality in his house, but most assume it was his teacher, Li Tieguai. Now, did his teacher plan to have him find the book after burning his house down? We don't know about that. He didn't seem to be involved with this little incident. Now, fully aware of his immortality, Zhongli Quan set off on a journey across the land, traveling and spreading his wisdom. His magical fan, a symbol of his power, became his most iconic tool. The fan, made from palm leaves, had the ability to bring the souls of the dead back to life. With it, Zhongli Quan could summon the spirits of the departed and offer them new life, bringing comfort to those who mourned their loved ones. Which leads to the question, did he resurrect his own wife? The answer is no, he did not. He apparently moved on. I suppose he was still a little upset about the whole infidelity thing. Anyway, Zhongli Quan was not only a powerful immortal, but also a teacher. One of his notable students was Lan Caihe, another member of the Eight Immortals. Lan Caihe was one of two females who made up the Eight Immortals. Known for her eccentric demeanor, she often wandered barefoot, dressed in ragged blue garments and carrying a flower basket. Legend says Zhongli Quan and Lan Caihe were a manifestation of the legendary barefoot immortal and wandering Taoist who sang and danced their way through life, seemingly in a trance somewhere between madness and divine inspiration. Her connection to Zhongli Quan adds depth to the intricate relationships among the Eight Immortals. Zhongli Quan is often depicted as a plump, bearded man with a sagging robe, a bald head, and a potbelly. His appearance is that of a wise elder, someone who has lived many lifetimes. As he did live for thousands of years, it's almost like he actually did live many lifetimes. He's always seen with his fan, symbolizing his mystical powers. The name of Zhongli Quan first appeared in the Tang Dynasty records, such as the supplemental collection of Tang poetry. He demonstrated his mystical abilities by inscribing poetry on yellow silk, said to connect with the supernatural realms. So I just want to be clear here, they totally believe that this guy was real. This is not, they're not, this is like, no, he's an immortal and he lived through many dynasties. Much later, during the Song Dynasty, tales of Zhongli Quan flourished. In one account, Zhongli Quan visited a barber shop in Chengdu. He paid generously up front, but caused great confusion as his hair grew back instantly each time it was trimmed. The barber's wife, exhausted and baffled, returned his money and sent him away, only for the husband to lament missing an encounter with the immortal Zhongli Quan. These stories throughout the dynasties, spanning over thousands of years, are thought of as proof of Zhongli Quan's immortality. Zhongli Quan's most famous tale comes from the legendary story of the Eight Immortals crossing the sea. This challenge was proposed by Lu Dongbing, another of the Eight Immortals, who declared that they must not rely on their mystical clouds to cross, but instead use ordinary objects to display their divine powers. Zhongli Quan cast his magical fan onto the water, transforming it into a makeshift raft. Others followed suit, using such items as a flower basket, a flute, and a wooden plank to cross the waves. The story gave rise to the famous saying, "The Eight Immortals crossing the sea, each demonstrating their unique divine powers." It symbolizes using individual talents to overcome challenges. So, what does the legend of Zhongli Quan tell us? It's a story of immortality, but also of love, betrayal, and wisdom. Zhongli Quan's journey reminds us that the pursuit of wisdom and self-discovery can take unexpected turns, and that the heart, too, must be tested before it can truly be trusted. As one of the Eight Immortals, Zhongli Quan's legacy endures to this day, reminding us that true immortality isn't just about living forever. It's about leaving behind a story that transcends time. Which part of Zhongli Quan's journey resonates with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories on the Eight Immortals. Until next time, 再见.